Still breathing. So I did a thing. Yes, I did. I need to make sure that I can actually see myself. Gonna get that report on the main one. Wrap. Well, let me see what my status here is. Here. I know it really does. That's off. Here's this one. Hello. Okay, so quick little explainer at the beginning of the video, in case anybody watches this. I had Hermes and Claude build a extra dashboard, essentially. Oh, I can actually do that. Neat. So what's going on here is right now the team's working on APOC plugin install and health check fixer Docker compose updates. They're 5 minutes 44 into the work, waiting for completion. So it's checking, and the code that's running is essentially an updater that is waiting for Claude, which I've running through my new dashboard here, to essentially like return, right? So once it returns a finished message, then that gets fed back over to Hermes. Hermes is able to then go through, check some things, do some upper level things, report to me if it's something that's necessary, and then it'll send a message. If it's more work to continue, it was just a little decision or something, it should send it another new message back over to Claude. Now, the point of and I really hope my microphone's working here. The point of this is so that Claude can actually maintain a context, because as it was using it when I was first using it, Hermes, how Hermes was using Claude Code, my Claude CLI subscription, is that it would send a pipe command essentially to the back end, and I would see it using a tool or a skill, but I wouldn't see any of the actual interaction. I wouldn't see what Claude was actually thinking and doing. As well as once that pipe command was done and something was returned, it closed. It lost any context. There was never a window session ID even tied to it, so it's not like you can try to recall it. What I've done here is I don't have more than one up, but I do have the ability to just start another one. And this one, like each one, when you initiate the conversation with Claude, it writes a JSON, and that's that conversation history, right? As soon as you initiate a message, it writes one file name kind of based on what the topic was. And so being able to log that at creation and then recall it, if I were to say completely close this out, and I have two different sessions, but I've got this one displaying. I close everything down, I restart my computer, whatever. I bring the dashboard back up. It'll automatically fire a resume on this conversation, and it'll only fire off another instance of the backend bash when I go to another one and I tell it to resume that one. So I can have different conversations going, but it's only going to start up with just this one. Um, Assumptions, yes, I can also probably start a new conversation, just have that conversation in there. It'd be good to compartmentalize different things, I guess. I haven't gotten Hermes to necessarily recognize and use that yet. But that's kind of the next thing now that I've got that, I guess, integrated. Now I just need Hermes to be able to possibly use different sessions if necessary. Get it to understand that it's got its main project agent, but if necessary, it may have to create a new agent for a fresh context to go do maybe side research to answer a question or information, like fill in information that like the context window that I'm in right now would have. Right. So the main project one, then you have a research context window, but like each one's able to maintain that inner project context. So hopefully that is a quick, dirty explainer of what this is. And what I'm waiting on right now for the running code to recognize that this goes. So Claude had just finished what this command wanted it to do and kicked it back to Hermes. Well, Hermes picked up that there was the finished update here. All 4 orders complete and verified. So now it's writing like a final summary. We're at a point where it's like, I actually am done here. But I had to do a restart. There were actually a couple that had fired off in parallel, not in parallel, but sequentially, like a back and forth between Claude and Hermes. Oh, and what I'm having it build is a Docker-based Hermes memory system. We have our MCP cipher, Neo4j, and the MCP memory. So go ahead through this. The APOC plugin, which it brought up, and then I had to look at what it was, and I was like, oh geez, yes, that'll give it so much more tools. Before I do this. APOC confirmed functional. Wish plugins mount value. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Health check fix. Schema reconciliation. By temporal. To optional fix search. Okay. All 3 containers healthy. Memory integration live end to end. Single canonical bitemporal schema. The fuck? Entity relates to with valid at invalid at. So yes, if anybody knows what a node graph is for memory, I just gave Hermes a brain. So also in the title of this video, I gave Hermes a brain, and it's I let Hermes talk to Claude, and it built itself a brain. This was all under my command, but damn, wouldn't that be a catchy title? Gosh, incredible. One remaining decision from ADR6. When you're ready, fully removing the server. If you're keeping it for semantic search, is the decision to close out a single schema goal. HMM integration is production dashboard. Could survive the restart perfectly. Enter the memory systems on. I've got a question for it actually. Did it build it for my dashboard or for Hermes? Ah, man. Both. I gotta know because the way it's talking, I'm thinking that it just actually wired the memory into the dashboard, which is not intended. Very status. Not yet. It needs. Ew. Oh, fuck. Structure it. This. Drag it. Oh, no, that one. You know what? Well, you know what? But the awesome thing that I can also do. Well, yes, I'll just automatic yes. Fraction, both by temporal memory. Yes. You can set that up. That's great. I sometimes just like going back through and adding apostrophes. Sometimes I don't. It's just who I am. Okay, so I don't expect it to actually kick this over to Claude dashboard. There's always like the chance, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to handle some of the rest of this here. And it's I don't know if this is something that would necessarily be. You know, I don't remember if I don't think these came around. I need my password because I had it just go ahead and set this up. Need to check like, why would it let me do that? Why would it let me do that? That's bullshit. You. No. I'm gonna do this right quick. Right. We're in. Oh, geez. Didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter. Not from the video. Got still going, working on the memory brain session. See, I've never actually like used uh this dashboard before. History, reference, setting. Did how do I display the graph? This is the question. And like Capola, if I've got to actually look at chat in here, because I've only got the one screen. Welcome. Connect. There's the different commands that are in it. At about I can just that. Yeah, code YAML. Why is it YAML? It goes into config.yaml after providers. Is a new document. Okay, I feel is save that. Yeah, it might actually be worth me checking it out myself. It's not like it's that freaking crazy. The users scale 38. I do prefer when they do like all the work for me, but sometimes necessary. Also, wrong computer. Kind of working with two of them here through my main PC. Obviously, TV were connected. All right, where the hell were we going again? The check again. Bingo. So I'll take all of this. This don't think those are resources. Out. Okay. This has it's a reading. Doing a lot of reading. I am using the currently free provided Ematron 3 Ultra 1 million context window. Gotta say, not too worried about it forgetting much right now, or even needing to compact for a little while. And same thing with the Claude session. I believe Claude's got 1 million token context now, so that'll be fine as well. And it's really only used a freaking small bit of it. Only maintains a small bit of it. So we're in that little loop where we just kind of have to wait for that. Meantime, you have this one. This one is now effectively, I can kill this window because that's what they're working on here. Well, actually, no, that window was working kind of on like the dashboard itself, but through the dashboard, we can still do that. This one is working on a persona animation set for desktop homunculus, which I've downloaded the source code and am making some modifications to. But I want Hermes to also be able to have an element that is able to tie into that. So a certain personality requests or expressions, things can be done. When it returns to idle state, idle animation. But it's reconfiguring the whole system that it uses for the pickup and drop. Because when you pick them up by default, they go into like this animation, like you're holding them and then they'll go back to stand. It's modifying that so that when I apply my new rotation system, pick them up. I think it might pick them up straight, but then maybe like drop them back down to the way they were facing so you can adjust them a little easier. Yes. This new dashboard though, I definitely want to see if I can get it on GitHub because it does require some backend install of MySys, not like the database, but something else, and the tmux in Git Bash. Gotta like install MySys and then like I think install tmux in Git Bash, but also like copy some MySys stuff over somewhere so that it can be referenced so that it actually functions in Git Bash properly so Hermes can use it. It's natural Git Bash terminal talk to Claude. And I think it's so the dashboard can open. Same thing. It'll open Claude and Bash friendly, something like that. I don't know. I'm stupid. Okay, I'm stupid. AI does all the work. I don't know how to code. I just know what I want. At night board as well. Fucking Bismol. Start a new chat.
Yo,
What
not much. Trying out this.
Tears of Pandora, huh?
It's pretty good.
Interesting.
It's not a very deep game, but
Holy fuck. I
what?
don't know if it's just the gamma translation into Discord or what. Is the game really that blown out?
No.
Jesus.
It might be just Discord.
Yeah, holy fuck. Discord's like cranking that gamma the fuck up. Looks bright. The sky is all white except for like some little blue patches. That's how bad it is.
Like here, I'm facing some dark rocks.
Yeah, I mean, like they're again, even that, it's like the gamma is just ambient lighting's all the way up. But yeah, it's more than likely Discord. I highly doubt the game actually looks like that.
No, it's got like blacks and some real bright whites, but yeah, maybe Discord's just not sure how to translate it over. But like finally got this Ecron, the thing you fly.
Nice.
Pretty fun. For a while, I had like a male character, like you can customize it between like different settings, and I don't know, the voice actor that they had for doing the guy was just so fucking like squeaky and annoying and whiny that I eventually was like, okay. And they let you like recustomize your character at certain points, and I'm like, we're changing this up.
Yeah, yeah, no, fuck that.
Because
That's cool. They let you.
But yeah, but like there's a whole storyline like I'm in right now where it's been like months since I played, but like I went to the area where like the horse riders are for the movie.
Yeah.
Like they split it up. Like in the movie, you got the people flying, and then and they also do the horses. But here, it's a little they broke it up a little bit so that there's like clearly areas that are like where these critters like to fly more than and others people like to ride. So it like gives it a big map. Like, can I bring up the
Well,
map?
the thing you're riding is kind of like a cliff top based like creature. It just functions better in the floating isles, so it's not going to be seen out on the plains. And it totally makes sense.
Right, right. Like you start here, like in this forest, and then now I've made it to
It
the
wasn't
upper
so blown out.
plains. Oh yeah, it's probably so bright. But like
Yeah.
there's like four areas, but there's like some areas that additional stuff that are DLC. I wonder, is there any way I can like edit how Discord sees it? Oh, yeah, looking at the preview, it looks really fucking bright. Let's see here. Save streaming 460. Uh, is there stream settings that you know of?
No. No. My best assumption is it's HDR.
It may be. Let's see here. If I If I stream quality, change stream. No, let's see if I stop and restart, will it be blown out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I mean it is HDR, so that's probably it. I saw that the servers are marked as degraded right now. Is that like why everybody got off for the night?
yeah, bad service.
I wonder what they what has changed that has like caused that. Let's see here. Here. Shit. Oh, they got me.
So I did a thing.
What's that?
I I got Hermes and Claude to build a dashboard for Claude that
Okay.
allows Hermes and Claude to talk to each other. So essentially, I can use Hermes, and now if I tell Hermes to give its team a project, and I've got the dashboard open, it'll actually send a message over to it, and I will see the message that was sent over to it, as well as what is essentially the Claude CLI display.
Mhm.
So then I can see Claude processing, and then when Claude processing finishes, it sends a ping back to Hermes, and Hermes is able to kind of like read through that, and if it needs to, or it can do like the setup requested by Claude or handle that layer, and then if anything, it'll usually report to me. But it has, because I set it up to, has actually gone back to Claude to have it like do stuff, and the whole point of it is like by default, Hermes works with Claude as piped, so that it'll ask one shot questions to a Claude agent and then terminate the window so that no context is kept. My system keeps the context. and then even resumes context based on the session ID. If you were to like shut your computer off and then bring the dashboard back online, it'll auto resume the last session you were using, and Hermes will use that one.
Nice. I was messing with Claude a little bit earlier today, trying to teach it a Godot, which is like a game engine, but it struggles at understanding 3D. But
Yeah,
other than
you
that,
need. I I mean, I'm just gonna say Hermes is probably one of the first commercially viable AI agentic software frameworks that allows you to actually work with projects, read files and stuff. And the way that I've got it hooked into Claude, and I'm making it right now build its own node-based memory system, like just those three things alone, pretty much allow you to do whatever. It's already done work with um, Unreal as well as Blender, because I downloaded like 3,000 FBX animations and a whole crap
mhm.
ton of VRM models, and had it fix up the VRM model bone structure and then convert all of the FBX files to VRMA files.
Well,
Took a little bit of patching, but
the Claude stuff, it understands like the Godot like scripting, and it works with it. It's more of an issue of communicating, like trying to describe to it
oh
three-dimensional like rules, because there are
yeah, that
like
is one of the things I was fighting a little bit. It rotates the wrong axis or something, and it's
yes,
like, no, wrong axis.
there's like normal contextual things that, like, humans explain to humans like understand, but for the AI, it won't exactly understand. Like, you could be like, okay, I need you to have the camera like close where it can see like the three surfaces of this like rectangle, and it'll go okay, and then you like render it, and you're like, what the shit? It's like the screen is full, because it's all the way like zero distance from one of the corners, and it's like I could see three sides. It's like, okay, wait, like that's not, you're right, but that's not what I meant. And so you have to like keep
Yeah,
adding
I
and
could
adding
imagine
and
the structure with that. Damn.
yeah, you have to like keep going back, and then like sometimes it'll think it's doing it right, but it's like, wait, no, undo what you just did. And it's like smart, but you can it certainly can hit a limit. And that's
Yeah,
what I've been like.
there's certain things that could I see trip it up. Like there's two different common conventions for up. The one that most people agree with is Z is up. But there's certain things, I don't remember if Blender does it. I think Autodesk Maya and like a couple other editors default to Y is up, which is freaking retarded.
Yeah.
Z is up. Just stick with Z is up. Fuck. Why do you want to be different?
Yeah, it's interesting, like I have it rendering stuff correctly ish, but I'm trying to like it looks off, and now I'm like trying to figure out exactly how the best way for me to figure out what it's doing so I can try to correct it or tell it what to correct or whatever, because
Yeah.
it looks like weird, like, and I don't know if I'm seeing a limitation of Godot and surface clipping or what it is, but it's like, I could show you tomorrow when I'm on my other machine, but it's like blocks seem to intersect, but not exactly. It's like a weird visual effect. So I'm not sure exactly what it's doing, but it's my latest like thing to test the limits, and it's been fun, but it's definitely a side project that takes some time. But I just, the other thing that I've used Claude a little bit for, but in a far more limited capacity, is um helping me develop my iOS app. And there it's very much like write me a function that does XYZ, and then, that's all I want it to do. And so it can play along with that just fine. But yeah, it's it's been interesting to see how everybody uses the AI tools differently between each other,
Well, I mean,
you
there's
know.
like so much potential unlocked with it. It's gonna, yeah, have their own direction that they want to try to take it first, and it's beautiful.
It has been interesting seeing like some stories pop up of development companies be like, okay, we're ending our AI usage because it's too expensive. They're like, it's cheaper to go back to humans. It's like that's kind of funny, like an unexpected shift. Um, but Silence is hoping that it never gets good at developing C, which I feel like someday it will. It's just not as widely used as other things as JavaScript, so it doesn't have the training opportunity. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Okay, so this is what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was Turok Peak. Okay, so I'm near Turok Peak. All right, we're gonna go there. I don't know, some people, you ever heard of a Home Assistant?
Yeah.
Some people have been tying in Claude to it and giving it permissions, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I would give it permissions to my like house doors and shit. But it has been interesting seeing some of the AI integrations with like home automation that people have done. It's like really good at writing like dashboard code for it. Okay.
Oh, it was there. It's kind of. I try to figure out where the bugs in this system that I just wrote are. Because, like, Hermes did actually completely circle back around and, like, sent Claude like another task to proceed after it had cleared up some stuff.
Hmm.
But, like, I didn't see the marker going for Claude actually working. But if I typed proceed into the thing, it kind of like prodded it. Now I can see orchestrating going. It also prodded Hermes because the orchestrating apparently threw it off a little bit, but fine. It's not the message it's waiting
I
for. It can chill, and it is.
Yeah, that's the Hermes thing is not something I've messed with yet. I might have to take a look at it.
Hermes desktop. They actually made a nice little GUI interface for it. You're not working in a CLI. I will say their CLI style wasn't too bad. I worked with that for a couple days, and then they released Hermes Desktop just a few days ago. It's really nice to work with.
Hmm.
I have like, gosh, I like working with Claude a lot. It is the master of this freaking coding and stuff. Oh, and not just that, not Hermes isn't just working with Claude. Hermes is working with my BMAD method version of Claude and understands that there are different agents in there that can do different things and have different names. And so it's got a true team. It's not just working with Claude, it's working with BMAD method team of like agent orchestration type shit.
Hmm.
Like it's got a developer, it's got a research analyst, it's got all of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm this my system's juiced on every level. Again, right now it's just building in the integrations with Hermes desktop to the memory system that I just had it build and host in Docker. This is so fun. I love modding the hell out of things, and when I making something that's like progressively more useful, even if all I'm using it to do is build itself. I don't know. I find some kind of glee in that. I'd be a great father. Best thing is if I can. There's avenues to revenue through what I've been doing as well too. So it's not just a fun project. Those 3,500 animations that I converted from FBX to VRMA, like those VRM models, VTuber models basically are becoming more and more freaking popular, but there are not really any good just animation packs for them.
Hmm.
They're a pain in the ass to find. So either I host my own resource dump for it, I could use my existing Backblaze account that I'm using for my voice. Just throw them in there as download links, but have a monetization scheme and pack them together, or just release packs onto the already known websites for a lot of that shit. Charge them. Charge the Japanese money. So Hermes just picked up on Claude finished. Hermes is now thinking about what Claude just said. Claude said there's a couple housekeeping items and the plugin works, but memory provider Hermes config flip. I did tell Hermes it had permission to mess with any .env files involved in this project. Will it edit its own?
It
Was just
might.
because it was just asked to by Claude. It still needs the config.yaml flip in Hermes Neo4j password in the agent's environment. And an agent restart to go live. Let's see. Because Claude said it could do it, but it's in hold. Dev team finished the implementation. Report from yeah, and then Hermes just gives it to me in nice markdown. God, this system's working better than I thought it would. Transition switch touch. Oh, and my dashboard also has my memory system functional. So I think it do memory calls of anything that's put through it. Claude or Hermes or me. I got a fucking AI threesome desktop going on over here. Hermes. Yeah, you know what? Team, go for it. I want to see what happens. So I never told Claude explicitly that they can edit the .env, but Hermes will be telling Claude likely to go ahead and edit the env since it knows what's going on. And it knows the Hermes Neo4j password since it helped set it up. And it still has its fucking context window. Oh my god, this is so good. Boom, it just got sent over. Claude's now on it. God damn. This is exactly what I was trying to like think of how I wanted it to work in the last couple days. Initially, I was working with the Hermes CLI and I was like, oh, let's build a dashboard for this. And then they released the actual desktop version. So I was like, okay, this is actually really good. And now I'm building a Claude Hermes communication overlay. What's next? System. Haven't tried. Oh, I haven't tried the existing TTS or speech to text that are built into Hermes to vocally communicate with it. but I did build an API access into my voice. I just haven't done testing with it yet or tried to hook it up to
I've heard some people do that.
speak to the agents.
Yeah, like voice to text.
Yeah. It's not something I would use all the time, especially if I'm doing technical work. The the model that I have my voice running on is really good at properly reading out formulas and stuff like that, so I'm not super worried about that. It's just like, oh my god, the long technical documents. Like, I don't think so. If I can have it interject and do a brief summary, or if it naturally does a brief summary, then cool. But again, that's another integration I would have to sort of work in myself, and it'll likely be better than the one that's built in. But I'm thinking like when when you're talking to the model, but you're not doing production work, when you're just chatting, that male loneliness epidemic. You're like, you've been doing a good job. Coded everything. Look how far we've come. A little bit about myself since Hermes can actually like build a memory database, and now that I'm having it build a better associative memory database, I can have it convert the memories it already has and then just know things. Know that I've got dogs. It'll know if my dog ever dies and I tell it that my dog died, and I no longer have a dog.
Yeah, I've not gotten into that. Like the the maximum that I've done with any of it, like other than the few code things, is just asking like Chat GPT or Gemini to make like a list of like locations to visit on a trip or something. I've not really messed with it, like talking to it at all. Um,
Again, yeah, yeah, I mean, like, okay, yeah, that's the fairly standard way of interacting with them. Like, if you keep a context window, they can, they've got like a million token context window. I think they can retain some information for general chat or trip planning and stuff like that. But once you like, or you're in a different well, I think Gemini and some of them have a slightly associative memory. I'm just making mine all localized.
gotcha.
'Cause I can also run like Claude, I can't run localized, but it's just a coding project builder. It doesn't necessarily have to know context on everything, though it likely will. It's very permissive. And
So,
then
like, have you had to put together a bunch of CPUs and GPUs to do it locally, or
no, I just got my streaming PC, which has an RTX 3060 that's got 12 gigs of VRAM. I'm able to run some smaller but like okay orchestration models, like the new Gemma 12 billion parameter quantized. Um, I can run that one on it, and then I've got it hooked up, so I've got LM Studio on that PC and LM Studio on my main PC. So when I'm at work, I can have my main PC running the 31 billion parameter version of Gemma, and just be acting as a smarter brain. And my and Hermes, which is running on the streaming PC, will automatically pick up on it. It's like it wants the 31 billion parameter model and is using the 12 that's locally hosted as a fallback. So if like my computer ever restarts or whatever, or I turn off LM Studio in the middle of something so that I can play Star Citizen because LLMs take all the GPU, then the computer will automatically switch back to a kind of dumber brain, still capable but dumber. Okay, so according to Claude, it's come time. Hermes kind of thinking about its temporary death that's coming up because I'm gonna have to restart the desktop. It's totally fine. Team Found and fixed the plugin discovery path issue. Yep, memory status. Fire loads in connected CLI level. They need guidance on restarting the running Hermes desktop app to pick up the provider. All I gotta do is just close it and restart it. So I will be the human hand. It's like I graduated to CEO and I now have a project manager. So nice. And the really cool thing is in Hermes, I can set cron jobs. Cron jobs are just basically like like repeating jobs that you can have it set. So say you want a simple report on a specific stock generated at like 6 a.m. in the morning every day so that you've got something to read with your coffee, right? Boom, done. You just set it up as a cron job. It'll fire that off at the 6 a.m. timer and then go make a report. Oh, I think it terminated itself. That's fucking hilarious. It just killed itself. I'm gonna wait a second in case it like set an auto restart, but I don't think it did. But that's fucking hilarious. Come back, Hermes. Right, Hermes, whatever you just did that fired the the restart. Good here. Back into that chat. Claude subagent. Okay, so now that Hermes restarted, I'm going to have it go ahead and check with the last message the team left. Tell it that I did the restart and it should be good to go ahead and with the 2-turn memory test to see if everything's properly integrated. I
So,
really am living in the 21st century.
so the team is just like Claude acting in different roles.
Yes, so BMAD method has its own special set of skills for coding and project development and analysis and like a whole slew of different like things. So you're not like if you're just talking to Claude, you're kind of just talking to like Claude. It can do things, but these skills, like if I have it implement the quick dev skill, it goes and reads an extra document and gives the agent more context to be able to do specific things to a certain process, right? It actually goes through a process. It'll actually have review agents go over its own code and stuff like that, and like do a full process instead of just like, ooh, doodle, here's the thing. It didn't think to check. It didn't think what you were actually working on in context, like so it's Claude, but it's Claude with way more project context and capability, like direction, I guess I should say. Turn 1, please say I'm testing the new bitemporal memory. Turn 2, then ask me what did I just say. What? Got it. I've received your message. I'm testing the new bitemporal memory. This should now be persisted to the Neo4j graph via the Hermes bitemporal. Go ahead to turn 2. Ask me what you just said. I'll play along. What did I just say? Because it's going to be recalling it from that new bitemporal fucking memory graph. Suggest either the memory hasn't been flushed to the graph yet. After the turn, session needs to be reinitialized for the provider. Touch didn't catch this turn. So it's not up yet, but we are. It is just going straight into doing some debugging. Session scopes, architecture. You're testing Claude work. I didn't put it over there. team unlock the session locked memory, so it has cross section. But it does seem to be working. It's just apparently my message got sent to a specific chat instead of this one. I can see where the disconnect sort of is. Talking through Hermes desktop instead of the dashboard. Linked some of it into the dashboard. So it went to the dashboard by default. I want it cross session. I want it to have a memory across conversations. Since it's graph linked, there are things that won't cross, and there are certain things that eventually might cross. Like it's got Claude working on it. The other Claude agent. This
I'll be right back.
Not bad. If it'll make it the best agent interaction framework in the world. God, I don't think it could handle parallel. Or I don't know why I would need to handle. It technically can. There's only one foregrounded. Good, my auto mod for Twitch is firing off. Good. Spammers. Da, 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 da. Think. I don't know where I was going. just hoping that if I tell my AI that Rudolph was a red-nosed reindeer, and I ask it what color the nose was, it remembers red. Or if I tell it it's blue, it's blue. Teach it all the Star Citizen stuff, and I'm gonna have Rough plug it into the Discord. Okay, I got another report to fucking. Now, there's no point reading it in Claude if Hermes summarized it.
Yeah, back. Has RSI managed to magically fix their shit yet?
I was gonna join earlier, but again, the launcher said bad performance, and Cobra and Silence were having an issue.
Yeah, it still says degraded performance.
Surprising.
Wonder what caused all that.
New patch, new problems.
Right.
doing all I can to see if I can hit that $200 a month subscription rate limit.
Oh.
Churning tokens, baby. And the nice thing is all floating as much as possible to that Claude subscription from Hermes, which is free. There are like paid things for Hermes, and again, I can like have it use my local LLM. But right now, they're actually free hosting Nemotron 3 Ultra, which is like a million token context window, like project manager agent. Perfect for what I'm fucking doing right now. So I'm giving it a go.
Interesting.
Way faster than hosting it locally. Because yeah, I can't host like 105, 250 billion parameter models. My AI computer is limited to an 8 gig model, and because it really does kind of transmit to gigs. And obviously my 32 is able to hold like a 24 plus gigabyte size model,
Mm-hmm.
but it still turns tokens slow as hell. But if I plug like the 12 billion parameter model into the big PC, it's just faster. I mean, it's kind of I get a trade off. Do I want it to be using the bigger, smarter model that's going to turn out tokens slow as fuck, and I can't let it really sub agent itself in Hermes? Hermes has sub agents, but they kind of stack the models. And so, yeah, it really, really slows everything else down when it starts calling sub agents. So it might be better for me to use like the best small model I can that can potentially run 2 copies to 3 copies of that model on my main computer simultaneously, just so the main agent can have 2 sub agents. But I mean, honestly, I literally just gave it a Claude team. It shouldn't have to use much of its sub agent team except for like memory writing and stuff like that. And I think I can have it choose really small. I call them industrial models. They just handle simple function, return JSON, whatever. Really good when I was working with them in N8, N8N. All right, graphs now clear of artifacts as before the plugin.
What up, gentlemen?
Yo.
Desktop reach.
I don't even know how many tokens I've used. Like, it's not warned me.
In Hermes, I think I can actually get report.
In Claude, I've only used Claude, but I'll bet you it's like a teeny tiny.
Oh,
Dude,
dude,
we have
I would love to know how many Claude
we have tracking software on our side that gives people a budgeted allowance every month of tokens that they can use.
If
We
y'all
just have
just
to,
use
man,
the
'cause people
CLI
will
Claude
burn through
subscription,
it.
just God, get them to just buy everybody their own freaking like a business subscription. It's like $200 a month one. I have not hit my limit, and I'm using it like hardcore. If you guys aren't using it like hardcore, the $100 a month per person be up to like the company for those users, but you would also have to be using the CLI. Because again, there's a difference between the CLI and the API. Budget on the API, definitely. But you can actually backdoor into the API so it's not recognized as a third-party program and not force you to API. Like that's what I did with Hermes here. So like I'm using a way bigger allowance budget that's actually locked to $100. Well, I'm paying $200 a month. And if I overuse it, it literally just rate limits me and tells me like come back in a fucking hour. And yeah, that's it. Like I don't know why companies are trying to take advantage of that as opposed to any type of API connection with Claude is so fucking expensive, whether it's direct or open router. It's insane.
I think it's probably easier for them to manage like all the different employees.
Yeah, they each get a user subscription.
Let's see. Well, even a subscription can have a lot of waste because if you cut somebody, or some one person might use more than others. So when
Yeah,
you
but that
spread
again,
it out,
it's yeah, like somebody who's a light user doesn't need the $100 like
see,
subscription.
I
Yeah, but
I
like
don't
they
know. I
don't.
haven't functioned with it on that level just personally, and I
Yeah,
just found that out, and it's like, why would I ever want to use the API if I can get anything to work with the CLI?
totally.
it's see my weekly limit of all models is 1% used. It says.
Yeah, I know some people that they just run a crazy shitload through that, dude. You know what? You know what the real issue though that I found is it's not it's not the what's it called? It is token usage, but the larger issue is that people are just using the wrong tool to do the wrong thing. So it's like that's the actual bigger issue that I'm noticing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stories of developers like having like the API create like a bunch of do a bunch of stuff at once. And so they're like, "Oh, here's a pull request of like 300 file changes." And they're like, "Have you read like any of this?" And they're like, "No, the API made it."
Well, it's
Or
not even
the
that just that.
AI
It's
made
just
it.
like they'll use Claude to do something that like GPT is way better for. Like, and it's cheaper. Right? But like they don't have it just reminds me of cloud computing. I've said this before. Like
Yeah.
people just they're not used to thinking about budget. They're just used to using a tool. So like most employees are not thinking, what does it cost for me to, create a new spreadsheet in Excel, right? They just create a spreadsheet. They don't care.
Yeah.
So now you've got these tools and they have this like usage data associated with them. And people are not trained to think that way right now. And that's just, they're either going to learn or, new people
Yeah.
will step in that understand how it works. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I think, and so much like software now is like, oh, trying to do subscription based or usage based. Well, like you gave the example of Excel. Well, it's like okay, so we bought you an Excel license. Great. Like now I have Excel. It's like, but when it's like these AIs, it's like not like that anymore. It's, oh, you have a limit and
Well, it's just like I can tell you, I mean, it happened at my wife's work. She's leading up, and Dirk, you were mentioning this earlier. It's like my wife is literally leading up a Claude implementation at a finance company. And
oh, good.
it was like this crazy situation where at first nobody wanted anything to do with it. Then they started using it, and a few people were like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. Then more people started using it, and people were like, oh, okay, I see the value in this. And then the very next thing that happened was the bill came in. And as soon as the bill came in, the company was like, oh shit. Like that's when it hit them. Where it's like they're pushing everyone to adopt and to use, and they're not thinking about like, okay, when you have people that actually really start using this in like a power user way, it's way more expensive than anything that you know Microsoft or Google, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, I've been seeing an increasing number of stories of companies like trying to pull back on AI usage just because of those costs.
Yeah.
And it hits the trend where like some of those it's going to be interesting when those companies like put like hard limits and seeing like which employees like continue to be efficient without it.
Yeah.
Because it'll change. Like I've seen all kinds of memes. It's like oh, I've hit my Claude usage. Time to go to ChatGPT and ask it stuff. But we're living in wild times.
Yeah.
But it's going to disrupt software as a service. Like, I mean, it already has, obviously. But for some of this stuff, like, like I showed you some of my resume stuff, and those were like one of those is solution for banks. Well, now
Mhm.
like the banks might be like, well, why don't we just make this ourselves? Like why are we subscribing to somebody else's thing when we could just make it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which has always been a threat that like some of the that's one real like big downside to having like large corporations as your like only business partners, your
Mhm, mhm.
customer base is, and you're a startup, they end up holding so much leverage over you. It's nuts.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, oh, we're gonna do this, and it's like, okay, cool. And then they come back and they're like, we want this feature, and it's like, well, we've spoken with our people and like our other customers, and nobody needs that. And they're like, yeah, that's great and all, but if you don't do it, we'll like go somewhere else. So it's like, okay, every team, drop what you're doing. Like, yeah, XYZ wants this new feature.
I think that there's also the the very real nature of like there's kind of like the living in the now and the living in the future, right? And I think that a lot of people are actually right about what is going to happen in the future, but the problem is nobody wants to hear that right now. You know what I mean? Like right now, people are just like use a tool and like learn it and make it part of everything and all that. And people are just like, well, what does that mean for this? And they're just like, we don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? Like we're just focused on adopting the tools and all that. So I think that that's another hard part of the conversation right now.
It's it's been interesting seeing like the pushback that people have against AI and game development. Like
Yeah, I
they
was just
feel
talking to
like
Dirk about this earlier. It's funny.
I'm Dirk.
Oh, I mean, Rec.
Uh,
Sorry. No,
I'm
we were
like,
talking about it earlier, and Rec and I were both talking about like how cool it would be in like an RPG or an open world game for NPCs to just like have backstories and dialogue and all this stuff, which would be super cool. And he talked about like I think it was like a Skyrim mod or something that you had played, man.
yeah,
But like players in the gaming community, the gamers, at least the ones that are vocal, they are just so vehemently opposed to anything AI and all that stuff that there's not even a dialogue about it. You know?
right. It's as if there's something dishonest about the art without realizing that video games are very little. I mean, there's art assets now and artists, but there's so much labor that it's gone from being like this freewheeling thing where it's like more production costs than a AAA film.
Mm-hmm.
Like the term indie game has a lot more like meaning to it now than people think, like compared in the past.
Yeah.
Like Quake, you know, was an indie game in today's terms, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's like the amount of work that it takes to develop some of these games It's like, if you're a project manager or a developer or something, you'd be like, hey, it'd be real handy if we could have some AI tools to help speed some of this up.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what you could do if QA had could boot up, 1,000 additional play testers that are just AIs walking around,
Yeah,
doing
but it just feels like this like inevitable, like people are fighting this losing battle is kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
it it's kind of what I was saying to Recht earlier. Is it's just one of the things that's so interesting to me is like the lines that people are choosing to fight on. You know what I mean? It's like nobody is going and saying I'm only going to buy a car that is made by people. I'm not going to buy a car that is made by any robots or any automation. Like we want to make sure that jobs are there for all. It's like nobody's talking like that.
Right.
Like so that's acceptable. But then in video games, if if there's like some studio that's like, hey, we only have enough money to pay for like 20 people and we're leveraging AI to like do this stuff because we just can't afford to hire more people, gamers will just be like, burn your game down, don't play it, don't even, give it a chance. And I'm just like, damn, it's so crazy to me how unequal that is.
They're keeping it very secret, and I've been surprised by the blowback. It's like, I forget what game it was, it don't matter. But like it came out that they had used AI, but all they had done is like the concept artists were like, hey, like what like asking it for some general things just like to generate some graphics, just so that way they can be like, give me an idea on like what I could do with this or that, like what would be a theme. And then the artists went from there and like did their own work to design it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, there was nothing like malicious or
But it still feels inevitable to me, dude. Like I won't name the companies. I won't name the companies or anything, but like I've got a handful of guys I know that are concept artists and they are struggling right now. And the struggle that they're having is like people that aren't concept artists will like take a character, right? Like say Kratos from God of War or something.
right.
And like somebody that doesn't even know how to do art can just like go into Banana or go into whatever and be like, this is what I want to see. And the art that it comes back with is fucking really good.
Right.
And so then now it's like, all right, well, does that mean that you don't need a concept artist? It's like, no, I mean, there's still a need for it, but
You may not need as many.
it's all about perception, right? Like if the person that wants the thing gets something that's acceptable to them, then they're kind of making the decision whether or not that, they need the thing or not.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. There's lots of talk about unionizing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't feel like that's going to solve anything really.
There's like literally an anti um like AI union. I think that their name is the Luddite Union, and they've been like around like a long time.
Mm.
And it's interesting. Like I know people in software that are very much like pro this group, but it's like you look up their history, and it's kind of funny, like the things that they like pioneered, like like protesting, and it would be things like oh, we're the union for fighting, like we're the typesetters union at the New York Times trying to prevent like computers from doing like newspaper print because like our job of being there to like physically set the type for the printer, like the print machine, like can't go away. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, that's like pretty wild, you know, but to them that was like that made sense.
Totally.
But you know,
But
it's
that's what I mean. I use that example with like blacksmiths and horseshoes, right? Like they're like, we're just going to keep, everyone's buying cars, right? But they're just like, nope. Like we believe in what we're doing. It's like, okay, like that's cool. But the consumer is going to dictate. It doesn't really
right.
matter like what you want. Like the consumer will ultimately dictate what's
Now what
going to happen.
will I th- I think is if it ends up being that the the AI if the AI that can do what they want ends up costing more than just hiring humans, then yeah, I could see it swing back to like
Yeah,
no,
but
we're
it
not.
feels like, I mean, and Dirk, I don't know if you have, or Rex, I don't know if you have any insight on this or not, but I mean, what it feels like it would just, like any commodity, the longer it's used and the more optimized it gets, the cheaper it becomes. Like I would
As soon as
imagine
the
that
data
it's at
centers have
some
their own
point,
nuclear
you know.
power plants, it will become cheap. Once the data centers are self-sustaining on power with nuclear, yeah, AI
But
inference cost will go way down. It'll become
I,
super valuable. Like it's super like
there
prevalent it's everywhere. Everything already is using it.
using what?
Some type of freaking inferencing. You type a request into Google now, it's automatically going through an LLM model. That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
top response, and then the other links. So like I've just stopped going to Gemini or Claude if I have a simple question, and I'll just type the entire question into freaking Google, and it'll give me a response, and I just scroll to the bottom if I have to like talk to it a little bit more. Like it's already everywhere.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just the cost of that and what everybody's worried about and nuclear power plants. I know they're supposed
We're
like I don't understand how they're for cooling. I'm assuming they're consuming a lot of water for like their cooling systems because yes, they get hot as fuck.
oh, they're actually like using up the water supply for towns. Like people themselves have had like gotten their water cut off and or have less water just because the
Yeah.
amount of like cooling and power that it takes. And some of the power companies are like, "Hey, we'd rather have one big customer than a bunch of little customers." And so
Now,
it's
you got a mini nuclear power plant with the data center. That means you also have the ability to keep things at an extremely low temperature by just having like converting to a refrigeration style. Like, however, whatever cooling system would have to be essentially converted, but should be able to be electrically driven refrigerator style. I mean, like you get the
Yeah.
excess
there,
power, then you can also handle a power hungry coolant system.
there's currently a major petition here in Nashville. There's a company wanting to build a data center, like take over the parking lot for the Nashville Zoo and try to turn it into a data center.
Oh yeah.
And like a lot of people are like, no, and they're like that would be like an additional torture for the animals as well, just for the amount of noise. Because so many of these data centers, it's like in Memphis. I don't know if you've heard like what the big brouhaha with Grok is. Is they don't have a nuclear power plant, and they what they do to like ensure that the servers have power is they have just like a bunch of
Like fans or something?
No, they have turbine generators, like
That's what I mean. Like
jet
yeah.
turbines.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're not allowed, they've been told they can't run those. But like near that data center is just a constant hum from
Mm.
these jet turbines running constantly to provide power. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I feel like one of my deep suspicions is that the cost to build out these data centers and train these AIs vastly exceeds like what they can actually return in value as a profit. And it's going to come to a head at some point where they're going to be like, yeah, none of this like makes money. Like we just keep pouring more money into it in the hopes that it will make money, but it doesn't make money.
I mean, wrecked another way that they could save money if they wanted to, and they don't, but if they could, is if you basically went with like instances, you know, like think of like a collection of encyclopedias, right? Like all the data in that collection, like once you have it all locked in, you're not adding to it in real time. It's just locked in. You can parse that extremely fast, right?
Yeah.
And then if you stretch out the updates on when those instances happen, then you could cut into that quite a bit, but you lose the real time aspect, which is what everybody wants, right? So
Yeah.
kind of it's a viable option, but I don't think it's one that anybody would really want to do.
I don't know. They might be right. Just shoot all the data centers in.
Creates a whole new problem. It's funny. It's like
It does.
you
It
know,
really does. Microelectronics in space do not behave the fucking same. Trust me, I build the fucking things. Like, we've had to de-gold connectors because low quality gold in space will actually start fingering. It'll move. Like the molecules will start to crystallize and form like actual spikes. And those can
That's kind
cause
of
like
cool.
bridging. Those can cause bridging in microelectronics, so you get a short. So it's not cool. It's cool, but it's like
No, but
fuck.
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's interesting.
It's a really neat.
It's like when SpaceX is like, we're going to put data centers in space. I'm like that creates like a whole list of problems. Like keeping it cool is going to be real hard. And these dudes were like so confident. They're like, no, it's in space. You have radiation cooling. And I'm like, yeah, that's like one form of like we have that
It's
here as well, but we also have other forms of cooling here on Earth and atmosphere, like that you don't have in space. And I'm like, and they're
people.
like, no, man. They're like, its housing is going to be radiate enough. Just the frame of the computer, it'll work. Like you don't know what you're talking about. It's going to be so cheap. And then SpaceX like posted some concept photo, and it's just got massive trailing like heat sinks, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. Like people make the mistake of thinking space is cold, right?
no, yeah, it's not anything, which is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing there to actually like pull heat. So actually like getting like a lot of the big freaking fins that are coming off of the space station are literally just heat radiator just to get rid of fucking heat.
Hmm.
Like yeah, I
And
mean
I
in data
tell
center
that
it would
to
have to just
people,
have
but
an onboard nuclear power plant and refrigeration system. Not
believe it or
running
yeah,
not,
on
but
what
space.
if anything, you know, if if there's anything I've learned in the time I've been on this earth, is that most people that have an opinion on things are unqualified to have the actual opinion that they have. So it's like you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like everybody constantly is like, this is exactly what we should do. And you're like, do you really like know what you're talking about? And they're just like, well, how hard could it be? I'm like, oh shit, like you don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Yeah. But it's like all these people being like, "Ooh, SpaceX is gonna solve computing power by putting it all into space." I'm like, watch them get like one machine up, and people go, "Great, is this like equal to a data center?" And they're like, "No, it's like for gaming PCs." Like it turns out it requires a lot of power. Still, it's like, oh,
Well, I thought it's a little, kind of unrelated, but like a while back, I was watching a talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was just making this point where he was just really like doubling down on like we didn't go to the moon because like we wanted to go to the moon. We went to the moon because we wanted to like beat Russia to the moon.
right.
And then once we beat Russia, it was like, okay, well, like I guess we don't need to like necessarily continue investing in that because like we won that race. Which like I never really thought about it too much, but it was kind of a fascinating angle to that whole thing where I was like, yeah.
Right. But no, it's
And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, we never really went back and like, like we haven't really gone further. Like, I don't know, it was just kind of an interesting like moment where I was like, shit, kind of crazy.
yeah. It's like it turns out some of this shit is really fucking hard.
Yeah. Dude, Dirk, we were running refueling today.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Did that one mission end up completing?
Mm-hmm. We had one at
Nice.
the very end that just due to the servers didn't play nice, but in general, like doing it solo, you could probably make a ton of money.
Okay.
Like we were doing it with with 3 people on board. And so it was kind of like
Split up, yeah.
it was like maybe 600, 650 each, something like that. And for the 1.8. Which for what we had to do was very simple.
I'd be curious to know what's going on that they have started having all these like server issues. Because it's felt like before 4.8 the servers were pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna associate that with the ironclad, and I don't care whether it's real or not. It makes me feel good.
Oh, the ironclads. Okay. Yeah, the whole ironclad thing.
What's
has been-
that?
I said the whole ironclad thing has been a real debacle and disappointment.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, okay, I get it. Like, we were talking the other night that they should have like kept it in the PTU for longer. And it's like I get that they wanted to get it out to people so they could be like, hey, here's this ship that you've all been waiting for. But it might have been better to just like wait and like let the community, because like it wasn't like people are getting an ironclad for free and screwing over the people that paid. Because if you're in the the PTU, you're gonna lose it. It's like a loaner for like a short period. It's not like you're wronging the people that pledged for it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a big ass fire close to my house in San Diego today.
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude. It's like
Everybody okay?
65 acres.
Oof.
Yeah, everyone is fine, but like we had family members like sending me photos of like tankers flying over their houses and stuff, like dropping that fire, stuff. It's kind of crazy. Dirk, you in the game? What are you working on, dude?
Oh, I'm playing the Pandora game, the Avatar like Pandora Wilds or whatever.
Oh shit. Okay.
It looks really
I
cool.
was streaming it a bit ago, but it's so blown out in color on Discord.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked really cool, but fuck.
I'm taking my chances in a degraded version of this game. Damn, do you guys see that earthquake in the Philippines? That was crazy, dude.
I did not. Did that
Oh my
happen
god, dude.
today or
Yesterday, I think 7.8 earthquake.
damn?
Yeah, Dirk, I had to invest some money into this ship, dude. It was getting kind of heavy earlier today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was because you can get like bigger bags on it. And I want to get a faster drive so I could jump faster, and
Oh, you can increase the storage on the
mhm.
Gemini?
Well, I've got the other one, the Starfarer or whatever, but
Regular
yeah,
Starfarer, yeah.
yeah, you can buy bigger bags, and the bags that you buy have different flow rates as well. So if you want them to go faster or slower.
Hmm.
I guess there's
How
heads as well, but people have been telling me that the heads don't really work that well, so I haven't paid much attention to them.
Yeah, it's kinda like the whole situation with, how you can upgrade oh, what is it? The tractor beams? Like, you could buy different tractor beams,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, what does that do?
For what?
Like, you buy
Like, you mean
different
for like a reclaimer? I could have like different tractor beams on it.
something, or they're the regular tractor beams that you have, on any ship, like the Hull B.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I would ever upgrade my tractor beams. I would upgrade them if they worked more like a max lift than like an actual tractor beam. I would totally upgrade it for that. Pretty sure that's not what it does though.
I don't know, I haven't tried it. I was wondering, Med, that you'd probably like it if you could get it to work like a, Atlas.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
Like a
you said
max
Mac.
lift or an at. Well, yeah, but I just
Oh,
mean like just anything that makes it work less the way it works now would be amazing. I want to use tractor beams. I just don't like how wet noodle they are.
sure. Let's see. What other game do I have? system. Let's see here.
It actually had a really good stopping